With regard to prostate cancer, African American men have the highest incidence and mortality rate of prostate cancer in the world.
The main ones being that we are less likely to eat properly and exercise regularly. And the third one, and a very important one, is that we're less likely to go and see our doctor on a regular basis.
What we do know is primarily the nature of the exam. Black men don't want to submit themselves to the digital rectal examination.
When we eat foods high in antioxidants, what we do is assist our body, help our immune system to develop resistance against the development of cancer.
Hi, I'm Peggy Toy. Women, come and join me. Bring your man in for this conversation, and men, bring the women in your life into what we're going to talk about, which is a focus on health.
Hi, my name is Sherwin Clark. I'm 53 years old. I was born and raised in Chicago.
Hi, my name is Reg Clark, and I'm a 55-year-old man. I'm a professional working in the education field.
Hi, my name is Ron Brewington. I'm a 59-year-old Los Angeles resident. I'm a producer, I'm an educator. I get involved in a lot of areas in the city.
Good evening. I'm Henry Ely, retired professor of American cultures at Los Angeles City College. We're here today to discuss issues relative to black men and prostate cancer, how some men with resources put their heads in the sand, and how other men without resources have to wait until their date with destiny is almost sealed with death.
Hi, I'm Peggy Toy.
Reg Clark,
Women,
and I'm
come
a
join me.
55-year-old
Bring your man
resident.
in for this conversation, and men, bring the women in your life into what we're going to talk about.
Ministry
How
of
some
personal
women
ministry. I am a prostate
now
cancer
we are
Not only am I a prostate
wait
cancer survivor, I am a double prostate cancer survivor. Twice a
We want to talk about the prostate, and I think it might be helpful for people to understand, first of all, what is the prostate? And because you hear that phrase, but what does it mean? It's a gland.
To get a better understanding of where the prostate is located in the male body, let's look at this diagram. The green area is the rectum. The light blue area is the bladder. The dark blue area is the urethra. And the red area is the prostate.
But then when I, again, couldn't pass the urine for a day or so, and then wound up in the emergency room again, I said, I gotta cooperate now. It's time to, face my fears. And because, you hear about going to get an exam, and they kind of stick a finger in your rectum, and, guys like, oh, no, I ain't going out like that, I'm a man, And so, again, I was, running from it. And but one of the things that drew me to getting the biopsy was I knew I had an enlarged prostate. But I figured, well, that's it, because there's two things, you can have an enlarged prostate, but not cancer.
What you're looking at now is a normal prostate gland. However, as men age, the prostate enlarges without cancer. This is called benign prostatic hyperplasia.
They did the digital, and it was large. They said, oh, the prostate is huge, but we don't
Still
feel
within range.
Well, we don't feel any nodules.
I don't know what range means.
Well, the range depends upon the experience of the doctor and how much, what they know what they're talking about. When he does the test, the digital rectal examination, and the PSA as two separate entities, these are two preliminary tests. If you fail either one or both, then the doctor's going to do the biopsy. Now, let's talk about that DRE for a minute. I mean, we're all men. A lot of guys have hang-ups with that. I don't want nobody putting no finger on my behind. Look, the reality of it is that's a test of life.
An enlargement of the prostate gland without cancer is called benign prostatic hyperplasia. What we're illustrating now is what a prostate gland with cancer might look like.
Round this out, we are talking about how it's diagnosed. So the blood test, which is a PSA, in combination with the digital rectal exam. And then at that, after an assessment of that diagnosis may merit a biopsy. The only way to surely determine whether cancer is present is the biopsy.
No, that's not sure either.
That's right.
That's not sure. Let me help you. That's not sure. because they would tell you they will divide the prostate into 4 hemispheres. And they will go into each hemisphere but only take 12 samples. So that's 3 samples per hemisphere, which means that they could miss a cancer.
Prostate cancer death rates by race, ethnicity, in men age 45 and above per 100,000 in the U.S. population goes like this. All races and ethnic groups are 70.7. Whites, 60.4. Hispanics, 47.6. American Indian and Alaska Natives, 37.2. Asian Pacific Islanders, 26.4. And of African Americans, the number is 159.7.
With regard to prostate cancer, African American men have the highest incidence and mortality rate of prostate cancer in the world. And that's not Black men globally, but African American men in this country.
And I was so gung-ho about this green light because it's kind of minimally invasive. You know, it doesn't mess up too much of the tissue. But like he was saying too, it does, in 70% of the cases, they tell me, causes retrograde ejaculation.
I don't think that the economic component plays a part in the prostate cancer issue, because you have Black men from various socioeconomic backgrounds. What we do know is it's primarily the nature of the exam that they don't want to submit themselves to. So that's the brother on Wall Street as much as it is, you know, the guy that works for the post office.
There is another procedure, piggybacking on what Sherwin was saying. It's the microwave. And this is supposedly the least invasive procedure. And apparently, these procedures are coming out at a rapid pace to the point where there is actually literature some doctors have written arguing that within 5 years, they're going to consider the radical prostatectomy to be a barbaric procedure.
For a long time, people didn't want to talk about Tuskegee. And one of the things that we realized at NBLIC is that we have to allow a forum and a voice to the public to hear their concerns.
Again, this speaks to the suspicion. So given that there is that suspicion, because of that, we know of these instances where there has been less than fair treatment, or that the motivation was not necessarily to care of the patient. So how do we get African Americans to overcome those suspicions and get those exams and take it and comply with treatment?
Well, you know,
okay, it's hard, but
But
how can we overcome
what Reggie
that
just
hard,
said?
that
This is
challenge?
what he just said.
I'm not sure we should totally overcome them.
Okay.
I think that we should be
skepticism.
judiciously skeptical about any information that we receive, because the reality is that physicians do have agendas. You know, depending on a lot of variables, and so we need to understand why, you know, they have their agenda. For example, he could go to the person who is an expert at doing the microwave, and that expert is going to tell him some good, solid, accurate reasons why that's a good procedure for him. And then he can go across the street to a reputable university hospital and be told something entirely different, because that physician has been trained in that orientation.
With regard to prostate cancer, African American men have the highest incidence and mortality rate of prostate cancer in the world. And that's not Black men globally, but African American men in this country.